So I've got an hour and a half to kill, and the shop is closer than the house, so I'm just going to make the best of it. Try and do some pre-CAD because I'm behind at work still. Where is my paper? So I'm going through my box and looking at things. I looked at it for a second when the job was handed to me, but I haven't really thought about any of this stuff yet. And the first one is somebody wants an eyeball pendant. So they kind of want it with. It's gonna be. It's unique. We've got a 3mm onyx for the pupil, and the iris is going to be yellow gold, and then we need to. I think he wants like an eyeball shape, and that's going to be white gold. So I've got to figure out 3mm was the smallest onyx I could find for the pupil. So I need to figure out like what this dimension is, what this dimension is. And it's going to be a pendant. So I need to figure out these dimensions. I need to do a sketch and come up with a price. Money has been put down, but they could not give him an estimate. So he's serious. But if this 3mm onyx is too big, and that's the smallest I could find, we can cut some, but that's obviously more labor. 3mm onyx is pretty cheap. Or another thing I could do is take that 3mm onyx and back set it, right? So, if it's set from the back, this yellow gold plate would extend to here. That would work. But let's see. Kind of need to know, like, I just want to look at some sculptures of eyeball. Let's just go to Google Images. And that's gross. Okay, not anatomy, not cartoon. Drawing, we'll just do sculpture. Because I'm kind of wondering how to, well, those are sculptures. Bas relief. Okay, so that's how I've seen that, where they make the iris kind of negative, like concave is out, convex. So the white part of the eye is convex, and then it goes to concave, and then it's kind of a hole for the pupil. We're going to use if we back set it, that's perfect, right? But there's no mention of like, how do we terminate it? What's the border? That's pretty cool. And it is, that one's concave, and then which is concave versus convex? I always get this concave versus convex. Vex is out, cave, so it's a cave. Okay, I need to remember that. Okay, so this whole thing is convex and then concave just for the pupil, which if we back set, the what's it called? The onyx, we could get that. I don't think he wants like a round eye. I think he wants it to be shaped like an eye, uh, as seen through the eyelids. So I like that. Uh, I like backsetting the onyx idea. So we do not have to be concerned with that it's 3 millimeters. If I need a bigger, I can find bigger. Um, but okay, so let's go back to more relevant results here. Okay, something like this. That seems like a good proportion. That seems a little cheese. I have raw. That's pretty wicked. Wood sculpture. Instead of doing eyeball sculpture, let's do face eyeball relief. I want to find like a good one and then measure the proportions on it. I have Pharaoh fast design. Oh, cool. So that's symmetric, and I was kind of wanting. I think I want to make it a little bit asymmetric, like uh, hmm, come on. See, most times you don't see the full iris. If there was always that thing about if you can see white all the way around the eyes, you were dealing with a crazy person. Um, so you're going to have an eyelid over a lot of these, and I'm wondering if that isn't something that we add to this. We don't make it so you have white here. You know, we can have white on one side, but we clip the top of it. That's on the wrong side. Erase. We do something like that and then tighten this up just a little bit. I want to have some, well, so when I'm putting this together, I can, we'll do the side view. I can make the white gold have a negative draft angle. This part, I can have it a negative draft angle so it fits in, and then when I sand the top, it'll get planed. And then from the back, we can have the onyx sit in and just, round that over to the onyx. So I kind of want to have some of this white gold here, something like that. And then this, I think I make the yellow gold high polish and the white gold a satin finish. So we got satin finish, high polish, onyx polish. And then the rabbit ear would be down here attached to the yellow gold center. We don't want to make this too sharp because it's going to be against the skin. So we'll round that off a little bit. Do I want a back plate? Can you guys see this all right? Search marks. All right, type the whole search phrase in Gem Garden. Sorry, I can't see the chat while I'm over here on the bench because the computer's like that way. So for a pendant for a man, and calipers are dirty, so let's grab a scratch paper here. Clean those off. Okay. So for a man's pendant, we'd probably want something. Let's see, that's 20 wide. Let's figure this out. So that's 33. Call it 34 by 76. And then if I want to make that 20, I want to make that part of it 20, then cross multiply. You know what? That's what speed crunch is for. So we've got 20 times 36 divide by 20. No. Divide by 34. Divide by 34. So that's 44. So if we went with 20, that means it would be 44 wide. That's big. That's way too big. I think. I don't know. I kind of don't want to go larger than 40. Still big. That's going to take a backplate out of the equation because we're just going to get way too heavy having that big. And with 40, I can dome that, which is, I can dome that so there's enough room for the onyx to fit from behind. So if we change that around, 40 over x, then we got 34 times 40 divided by 76. So that brings us to, we'll call it 18. Call it 18 by 40 is our dimensions. The onyx is black. It's a black onyx, so it'll be a real high polished, like a pupil. It's just I can get it in a 3mm. So if we want it to be about that big, um, eight over 34 is equal to x over 18. 8 times 18 divided by 34. So 4. That's plenty. So yeah, we can use a 3mm onyx. That should work. Should I go off of the 3mm onyx? Is that right? Let's draw it using 3mm as the base size. We'll do this at 2.5 scale. 3 times 2.5 is 7.5, so that will be divide by 2, please. 3.75. Two, 3. That should be 3.75. So this will be the size of our onyx. Not just my lead. Okay, so that is a 3.5mm onyx. Then let's see. How big do we want to make this pupil? Okay, and where do we want to pencil? We want to trim off like that much of it. whole thing with negative draft angle just being set in. Have this all domed, and then um, that would be flat and high polish, but everything else has a dome to it. And we need a little I'm thinking we do uh, kind of a satin finish. I don't know how to really show a satin finish in a hand drawing, so I'm just gonna do this. Don't know if this is gonna work, but I want it to show satin finish. This is what I'm going to show the customer for approval. I'm not going to show any CAD. Uh, Jim Gordon, do you know a stone cutter by the name of Nancy Attaway? Maybe that shows a little bit, and then we can clean up the white part of the eye, or that it's actually going to be yellow gold. Yeah, and I have color pencils since how this You do know Nancy Attaway. So her late husband, Stephen Attaway, is who I wrote my casting paper with. Um, I'll never forget how I met Steve. I was posting crazy ideas on how to cast resins on the old 3D CAD jewelry forum, and I mean they were definitely against the grain. What's the word? Hypocrisy. Uh, if casting was a religion, I was a heretic. And anyway, one guy said, "I think you're onto something there," and I was like, "Okay, thanks, random guy on the internet." And then he sent me papers. He sent me three papers that took me a month to read. And I just went, "Who is this guy?" So I got his number and called him. I said, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Stephen Attaway. I work at, you know, uh, drawing a complete blank, Sandia National Labs, the little place where they came up with the nuke back in the 40s. Um, but yeah, I talked to him like every other weekend for 5 years till he passed. I really miss that guy. So smart. And I have not talked to Nancy in a couple of years. I'm going back to the Santa Fe Symposium in May and hope to see her then. But gosh, losing Steve is just a gut punch. I really I miss that guy all the time. All the time. I don't like this yellow. Crap. That's a little too light. Too bronzy. I don't think I'm gonna like this. It's for canary. But what if I mix this one and this one? That's so. Can you blend these? No, they don't blend. I guess that's gonna be my best option. That kind of sunshine yellow. This will be an onyx. So I can. kind of show that this is going to be like a high polished gemstone. And that can just be epoxied in from the front. I can taper the back of it. This ended up too dark. I wonder what this will do to it. Lighten it up any. Well, won't do that again. I think I got it, but so I'm taking time because this is what I'm going to show the customer for approval. They both were and are fasteners. 2014, 2015. Let's see, I did my research paper in 18, so 2014 was about when I met Steve, and then, calling on the weekends, Nancy would answer the phone. I'd say, "Hey, it's Eric." "Steve." She's a really, really good cutter. I have one of her stones here that I got from my wife, and sad to say, it's still sitting unset. Okay, let's transfer this onto something else. 1 second. Grab another sheet of paper. And I want to move it to the top half so I can do the side. I have enough room for the side profile. Need to leave enough room for the bail. And we're just going to copy this on. I hate showing customers CAD models because they never they have that uncanny valley look to them and just makes them more nervous. Pencil sketch will get the idea across uh, without as much anxiety, I find. So that is what I tend to show. Even if it's a bad pencil sketch. And I never drew before I started doing CAD. You just get better at it the more you do it. I'm bad at tracing. What? That's not even centered. It was centered because I used the compass the first time. This is still set to my outer edge. Okay, back to coloring. We need to redo our yellow. I want to reinforce this line. Highlight like right in here. So I want to stay away from that. They're going to be darker down to here. And I normally do not do color pencils, but because this is like two-tone and the texture is going to matter, where's my silver pencil? I think I do want this satin finish. Otherwise, it's just going to be one big reflection. But having a satin finish right next to a high polish finish, that is complicates the whole construction process. Can be taped off. Rabbit ear. I think this. I think this works better on pencil than Yeah, that works better on pencil than color pencil. With a white color pencil, go over regular color pencil. Not really. How do I add in highlights? I don't know. This is good enough. Add in our line here. Well, the eraser is picking up some of the color pencil with the lead. The yellow. I think using the eraser was a mistake, but I'm not going to do it again. This is good enough to get the point across. Okay, so there's our two-tone. And now I need to do the side view. Now, I don't want to make this plate that thick except at the edges. So it needs to come so our iris is going to be flat across the top. And then we're going to slope down to here. And I want to make it kind of flat on the bottom, and then so it goes comfortable against the skin. And then Oh, I actually do want that line. So this is going to be a cross section. You can see the inside of it. And we're going to have this kind of and we're just going to do a negative draft angle there, and this is going to have a negative draft angle to there. That's just going to be, we'll solder that in, but that's just going to have to be glued in, I think. There's not, I don't think we can do a mechanical joint there. And it's a pendant, so not a lot of wear. I think epoxy will, we can rough up the back and overdo the epoxy on the back a little bit. Rough up the sides. So, say, soldered this joint, epoxied this joint, .5x scale. So pupil 3mm. Let's figure out what the diameter is on this. That's about 28mm divided by 2.5. Iris diameter is 11.2mm. Size, that's 1, 2, 3, 63 divided by 2.5. I think something's wrong here. It is 1, 2, 3, 63mm. That's only 25. Say 26. 26 by 12 with the rabbit ear. Let's see. It's 14. 5.6. 5.6 big enough for a rabbit ear? No, we'll make that bigger. Okay, I need a rough estimate for the weight now. So we will switch to CAD. Yeah, it's two-tone. So I'm going to cast them separate, solder them together, get the whole thing high polish, and then I'll put some tape down over the iris and trace the, before I solder them together, I think, I'll trace the iris and get a sticker template. Sweat them together, high polish. Then I'll have my sticker template I can put down over the eye, and then satin finish the white gold area. And then epoxy in the iris. Because before I sweat them together, there'll be a little bit of there'll be a seam there I can use to, well, I'll have the eye before I can put tape on the eye, cut it out, then sweat it in, then put the tape back on. Yeah, that'll work. Or we can paint it with fingernail polish or something. I don't know. Okay, we don't need any of that. Delete. Let's put in a box. 26 by 12. Put in a circle. 3 millimeter on the diameter. Put in another circle. 11.2. Okay, this and this go up because they get clipped. Actually, let's move our reference frame because we want it right about there. Let's put that on our 0 layer so it gets out of the way. And then shape this. Oh, I need to turn off the webcam, sorry. That let's just take this so I can get a rough idea of what the weight's going to be, and I'm just going to extrude 1 millimeter. Extrude curve by 1, and check the volume on that. 229, so 14 karat 229, 3 grams. So I think the plate's going to be thinner in the middle where I think the plate's going to be thinner than a millimeter in the middle, but I need to make a heavy rim for where it matches up to the skin. So for the estimate, a 1 millimeter plate that big, I'm going to say 3.5 grams, but now I'm worried this is going to be too small. This is going to be too small for the actual size, which I can scale this up. Oh, turn the webcam back off. Top. Did I leave the eyeball on center? Or the iris on center? Yes. So I can say scale off of 0. Bring that up to there, maybe. Two, 4, 4. Okay, I'm going to put down estimate of 3 and let's just say 4 grams. Better to go over. I think it'll be 3.5. 4 grams, 14 karat, white gold, and yellow gold. Okay, I think we've got that. We've got the model. I'm going to say 450. Because I've got multiple pieces to print, multiple pieces to cast. I think I need to put a white gold bar through here that the yellow gold can have a seat. Even though I'm not going to show any white gold on the top, I think I put a bar underneath right through here, just so it has something to register on and to keep this from kind of opening up. Oh, I'm not showing the webcam. I think I put a bar through here. You won't be able to see it from the top. I want this to be yellow gold all the way to the edge, but just a bar underneath so the white gold doesn't open up through printing and casting. It'll stay in that shape. This will have a negative draft angle, so that'll just sit in, and I'll have it take that it would be kind of like a registration mark, so it'll slot in, you know, just have a little bar through there. Okay, so this one's done. I will show him this and give him the estimate. And we should be a go because he's put down, I think, enough money to do this whole job. So, all right, job done. Clean up time, and then on to the next one. I need to get a brush. bale weight. I'm gonna just get a bale from Stellar and I'll tack that on to the estimate. I'll give this back to the counter staff and tell them to find a, because I don't know what kind of chain he's going to want to put this on. So when he comes back in to see this, I'll have them pick out the right size rabbit ear and add that from Stellar plus the solder to whatever I give them for just the eyeball part. That says bale weight, right? Yes, bale, not ball. Okay, next we have a blue topaz that we want to make a kind of standard halo out of. So let's get this thing measured up. Change that over to carat. 232. And start recording. Throw this on the scale. This is a oval sky blue topaz or London blue. London blue. Oop. London blue topaz. All right. And then I keep a little pad of sticky notes that's the right size for my calipers. .992 is the narrowest I got. And the longest .1403. Depth of 651. All right, so doing a 2.5 scale times 2.5. Let's go to 25 millimeter. And what am I doing? Center mark. And the other way, we're going 35. I did this backwards. Doggone it. Let's also put in a divide by 2. Got 12.5 and 17.5. But this way, we need to be 17.5. So let's put the center there. side. So that's the size of our oval. Feel like I've made this a little short, so just keep adding to it until we get the right size. Same thing here. So pencil marks, so I figured it out, but stone. Yeah. All right, let's do 4 prongs, and I'm going to make them a little bit ovally because ovals are hard to capture. So we're going to use ovalish prongs. Now I need to figure out like how many stones, how wide to make this. So we will go to CAD. I do want to save this for a second, so we'll be right. Okay, and I think I should also print this, like trim. I think I should also print this at scale. So top, scale of 1 to 1. So I can cut it out with scissors, and he can see like the actual size of it to go along with the pencil sketch. Okay, so new file, no, don't save. And I'm going to drag in my Halo template, import file. Okay. This is going to be back to the webcam. It's going to be a size 9. And what metal are we going with? 14 karat white gold. Our stone is London blue topaz. .94 carats. And it is a 9.9 by 14 by 6.5 millimeter stone. And then we've got to figure out how many stones to go around it. So I have not used this template in a while. I've rebuilt it recently. Let's turn off base. I want the stone layout. I want my spacer. I don't want prong flow. Don't want shank flow. Shank profiles. I want the halo. Don't want to see the supports. Gems I want to see. I don't care about cutters right now. No sprue, no shank, no gallery. Halo, no prong, no supports. And let's just work with this. Let's drop in a stone. We need a oval. That is, the long edge on this is 14.03. That on 0. And I'm going to isolate this and explode it, because I'm only going to have one of these. No sense in using the block definition. We don't need that. So we've got 9.92 on the X, 14.03 on the Y, and the Z is going to be 6.5. Okay. Let's put this back. Vertex snap, project. Let's put that back on 0. This needs to go to 9.92. Okay, and then these points that tell me what the top and bottom are. I don't really use, I keep vertex snap off, but I keep point snap on. So I may want to snap to the center, top, or culet of a stone. So I add these like little registration marks, so I don't have to always go back to turning vertex on. And then we are going to group all of that. That is our stone. Finger rail. This is going to be a size 9. And let's move this up to the top and then give it at least 0.5 millimeter. At least 3/4 of a millimeter. It's a thick stone, so I don't think we'll need much more height than that. Okay, unisolate. And now let's see if we can make this work. So I want the top of this, which is this point. Let's go to there, minus, let's take it to there, let history do its thing. And then let's come off of that girdle by 0.5 millimeter. Okay, and now we need to scale it to the stone. So scale 2D, up there. Scale 1D. Let's see, this is kind of where it needs to be, so let's do scale 1D. There to there, just as a starting point. And then scale 2D from 1 there to there. I don't know if I love this template yet, so I don't want to talk too much about it until I actually figure out what it is and how I want to use it. But basically, these are the curves that are flowing from there to there and there. And this controls my height. So however thick I want to make it, I can measure. So it's about 1 over 1 3/4, which is plenty enough depth. The stones I want to be in the ballpark of 2.7. So which this looks like the key size 1.3. So let's just uniform that up to 2.7. Do I have block history on? Did I mess anything up? Block history is on. Okay, so these are individual. We're going to sub-object select those. Oh, turn spacer on. Block. Sub-object select, and then I can take and scale those up to 2.7 as well. And that is too many stones. So let's these spacers were broken. That looks like the right spacing once it's moved out. I think that's right. Well, we can try and go down on the stone size. I've got to fix these spacers. Children's on. I need at least 2 more. So I can sub-object select those and say distribute Distribute spacing 0.3 already there. X-axis. I did sub-object select. Undo. Lock the spacer. Sub-object select. Distribute spacing 0.3 X-axis. There we go. And then this curve, set the X on it to there. And let's reflow these guys. Sub-objects back off, so now I'm getting the whole group. And we can say flow rigid off this curve using this target surface and that curve. Now I've got my spacers back, so we're too far off the stone here, right there. Scale 1D. I want to bring that into stone. And that looks like perfect spacing. Okay, so these are 2.7s, and we will need 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 7, 14, 18, 14, 15, 16, 16 stones. Try it again. 1, 2, 3 to the other side, to the other side, to the other side. That's 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then we need 2 of those and 2 of those. And I think my time for the day is about up. 12, 14, 16. Yes, we will need 16 2.7s. 16. I'm back over here on. Oh, I never turned off the webcam. Sorry. But you could see a little bit of what I was doing. Yeah, so 16 times 2.7 millimeter diamonds. And that will give us, so at 2.5 scale, 2.7 times 2.5 divided by 2, 3.3, 3.37-ish. Oh, walked on me. Set my pencil out a little too deep. That's the problem. I'm not sure if this job is an estimate or just do it no matter what it costs. So I will check on that. And we need one kind of, well, we can just space off of here and it should have plenty of room. Oh, that's bad. Try this again. We want off of there and off of there. Okay. One, 2, 3 in between. Let's go up there. And there's a trick you can do. Center point, center point, center point, center point, center point. Uh, it'll be all right. Maybe it won't, and I'll start over. I don't even know if this is an estimate. Like I said, it could be just do it. But I know it's right in the CAD, so it should be. Then we want, kind of a. We're gonna do fishtail. And then how wide do we want to make this band? Shank. Okay, that does not look wide enough. So let's bump this. Yep. It's time for me to go. Let's bump this 0.5, just get a 3mm shank. Shaded. Let's do another quarter. Now that is, I did another quarter. Points on, grab those, 0.5. So now that is 3.5 millimeters. I gotta redo this, but I think I like that. 3.5 millimeter on the shank. 3.5 times 2.5. There's a cathedral. Oh, that's bad. I'll do that later. I gotta go for today, but I'll pencil this in as a cathedral shank. I'll draw it better. Yep. Okay. Well, thanks for hanging out. Hope you picked up some stuff. But I gotta go meet up with the wife and kiddo. So